Hey guys, Anthony, D4D Diesel. We're going to do a fairly quick video. This one's going to be called the top 10 plugs that get forgotten. Okay, so when you start working on your own vehicle, okay, in this case, this is the engine we're talking about. It's a 1KD FTV in a Hilux, this one. D4D doesn't mean much because they call a lot of engines D4Ds. And this would probably work better with the cover off and the intercooler off and things pulled apart. But we haven't got that at the moment. At the moment's when I want to do the video, but at the moment we haven't got an engine with the intercooler on. So this is what you get for now. So you got to listen. I'm going to use my pointer. Happens to be a SP Tools SP31512. Really awesome strong magnet. Come off there, would you? Anyway, I'm going to use that as my pointer, Toyota symbol. Okay, we're going to go through, I'm going to call it the top 10 plugs that get forgotten. I don't know if there's 10 or more or less, but I'm going to just run through my mind. It's not scripted, I haven't made notes on it. It's just when people contact me and text me and go, oh, I'm doing those injectors and now I've got an engine light and it's doing this. And generally from that engine light gives you a DTC, and from reading the DTC it'll tell you what area to look, but generally probably try that. But anyway, you can search the groups and that on Facebook and they may give you an answer. And we're going to keep adding more information to that. Encyclopedia Anthony's YouTube and Facebook groups. But let's get through the top plugs that come to mind that people forget when they're doing either that E-jar clean. Remember, we've got that full detail E-jar clean video on YouTube for anyone to watch and use to clean their E-jar system, which is why am I doing that? It's around about that area underneath that intercooler, around about there. When you do that, you could forget these plugs, or when you replace your injectors. And I'm not suggesting you replace your injectors till you've at least been trained or seen our training videos in the VIP group on Facebook. Now, number one, behind this intercooler up here, right around about here somewhere, is the throttle body, which you'll notice in the E-jar clean video. There's a plug on the left side of that over this side. It is the throttle position sensor, a little black plug. It's not that little, but it's kind of little when it's next to a big engine like this, and it's black and it's blended in there with a valve cover and everything else. It's sort of tucked down in there. So that's one of your plugs. It's hard to get to with the intercooler on, but you can get to it. You can reach through there and get it, particularly on a Hilux. So that's your number one plug. What's a number two plug that gets forgotten? I'm not sure if this is an even number two, but around here, I'm going to point to it. On the side here of the E-jar valve, there's a bracket with a, let's say, a brown component, a brown VSV. It's brown. There's a brown plug. I'm touching it right now, so it's just near that back corner of the cover of this here. Just below that, there's a brown plug, so you got to make sure you don't forget that one. That brown plug gets forgotten. Usually the plug on the E-jar valve here doesn't get forgotten because it's pretty obvious, and the wiring loom comes to any. Just make sure it's all plugged in. Okay, so that brown plug, throttle position sensor plug. I'll say probably around number three, because well, that's we're calling the brown one number two. Number three is this plug down here on the end of the common rail. There's a plug on each end of the common rail. Come back here, would you? The one at this end is your pressure sensor. Okay, sorry, yeah, this one's the one that, you know, gives the signal to the ECU. Pressure sensor. Okay. The other end is your pressure relief valve. It's got a plug on as well. So two plugs. If you've done an inlet manifold clean or something, you might have forgotten the plug at the back down this end. Hard to see, hard to get to once it's all back together, but anything's possible. This one at the front here is the number three though. So don't worry about the one at the back, but I've mentioned it, so you can call it 3.5 in case I forget to go back to it. Right, number three, the front of the common rail, right there. The magnet's on it now. Come back here, near the start of the E-jar cooler, down near where you put that plate in. 1, 2, 3, that was three, wasn't it? What's number four? Number four could be here, this coolant temperature sensor plug, right? Because if you've done your timing belt or something even, it might be your timing belt or whatever you might be doing, you've got this unplugged and you might have that just tucked in over here somewhere, particularly on the Prado. It sits nicely over that wiring loom, and when you put it all back together, that empty plug down there, that sensor's pretty neat, and that wire and plug is up over here nice and neat somewhere, so you can kind of not see that. I see how that can happen. I can understand that. Have I forgotten that? I think I might have forgotten that once myself even. There you go. You know, little things like that, it doesn't matter. Maybe I forgot on purpose a few times to see what happens, so that when people call me and describe, hey, you know, I've got this problem and an engine light, because generally by the noise of the engine and how much smoke it blows or how it runs, I can then describe to you which plug it is. But it's even easier if you use the DTCs. So this is number 4, coolant temperature sensor plug. Now you're not going to forget the MAF, you're not going to forget the compressor. What else we got here? That's it. You know, the rest of the wiring room, the Prado, no, nothing. Around this side, no, you're not unplugging the turbo. So top 10 didn't work out too well for me, did it? Because we've got the top 4 at the moment, that's about it. You're not going to forget to plug your injectors in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Coolant temperature sensor. Look, you know, if you're doing your inlet manifold, you've just got to watch those plugs at the back there. There is that plug at the back that we've spoken about. Just be careful, there's not many plugs there. All these plugs on this wiring loom that comes across the top of the engine is pretty straightforward. It comes across here. This one we've covered. You've got your injector ones. Then you've got another, the loom splits off around here somewhere. Some of them come to you, like your map sensor, which is here. You're not going to forget that. It all just falls into place. Just slow down a minute and double and triple check your plugs. But I'm renaming this video to, it's going to be called the top four plugs that get forgotten when working on a 1KD, something like that, okay? So, to recap. 1, throttle position sensor. 2, brown plug on the side of the VSV here. 3, common rail, front of the common rail. Actually, no, I'm going to change it since I changed it. Number 3 can be the coolant temperature sensor. Number 4 can be the front of the common rail. And number 5 can be at the rear of the common rail or something down behind the back of the manifold there. So should I call it top 5? I'll call it top 5, there you go. So we make it up as we go here. It's not scripted, it's not planned, how many plugs there were. And you know, if we make a little mistake, we just leave it there. It's what it is, you know. And don't worry about the bit of mess here. This is just, you know, had a coolant bleed and, you know, the excess blows out. We've got to clean this up, so don't worry. It's pretty clean though, isn't it? Yeah, overall. Nice and clean, but it needs a bit more. All right, guys, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up for helping you out, letting you know what those top 5 plugs are. And in the comments, hit us with your questions, and we'll try and cover it in another video. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day.